Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today I have a message for all light workers. So if you only have 1 minute to watch this video, I'm going to give you the message right here, right now, and then I will elaborate as we go on, okay? So the message is, unity already is, perfection already is, you do not have to save, heal, or fix anything. And the greatest gift that you can give to all of us is simply to live in your joy. Alright? So now I will expand. So as you watch this video, the one request I'm going to make is just that before you comment or before you make up your mind about whether you agree with me or not, or before you just do anything about this video, I just want you to take some time to feel into what I'm saying. So rather than thinking about it so much, or dissecting what I'm saying, or breaking it all down, or coming up with all of these kind of like mental questions, I just want you to feel into what I'm saying, how it makes you feel in your body when I say these words, and then go by that. Okay? So being a light worker, so someone who feels called to heal or save or to change, who looks at reality and looks at people's pain and looks at people's suffering and has on some level within themselves transcended that pain or that suffering, or have healed on some level, and then feel called to go out and decrease the suffering they see in other people. That is what I'm talking about when I'm thinking of a light worker. Okay, so anyone who has any kind of calling to just like work with people and help make their lives better or more enjoyable, or the people out there who feel like they look around and see suffering in the world and like they want to change it or fix it or make it better, and anyone who feels like there's some sense of urgency, like there's something wrong with how we are, there's something wrong with the way that people are living, and you're really wanting to serve in a way that brings humanity closer into alignment with what you feel to be the truth, which is joy and freedom and lightness and awareness and unity and all of these things. Okay? So this is what I'm talking about when I talk about light worker. So, this can be you can be an overt light worker, like someone who literally actually makes your living, like doing things like Reiki or energy healing or counseling or anything where you're working with people, doctors, medicine, all of these kinds of people. And you could be a covert light worker. You could be someone who is a mother or a father or working at a dental office or working, as a receptionist, whatever you're doing, and you feel like you're, energetically exchanging with people or emotionally exchanging with people. Light workers come in all shapes, forms, and sizes, and I'm just saying that if this video at all resonated with you, then you are in this category. You don't have to wonder like, oh, I wonder if I'm a light worker. It's like, yeah, if you're watching these videos, you probably are, right? You would have no interest in any of the things that I'm saying if you weren't a part of the category that I'm talking about here, okay? So I totally and completely, fully, 100% understand your thinking and your feeling that you want to help the world, okay? And that you feel a sense of purpose, and you feel a sense of calling, and you feel a sense of urgency, and you feel a sense of, responsibility towards humanity. And that, in what you do and what motivates you, part of that motivation is seeing the pain around you and wanting to alleviate the world of that pain, right? And this can be totally cognitive. This can be completely something that was just innate in you, that you were born and you looked around and you just like did not understand how humanity was functioning the way that it was functioning, right? Like part of kind of my path was that I just woke up every day for like the first 25 years of my life not understanding how everyone acted like we weren't all connected, and how people could hurt each other and feel like that was something that was okay, and how people could hurt themselves, and so watching people hurt themselves and watching people hurt each other, that was incredibly painful for me and caused me to want to do the work that I was doing, right? The making videos, making blogs, doing nutrition, doing Reiki, doing all of these healing things, because I wanted to heal the planet. I wanted to save people from hurting themselves and hurting each other. And I really wanted to get to the root cause of like why people are doing this, and I wanted to stop it, right? And so this is where I think most light workers are at, is that we're at this place where we feel like there's something wrong with what's going on, and there's some misalignment, and there's something that's out of alignment with how people are living and how people are thinking, and the way that you see the world and the way that the world is operating feels very painful and feels very contracted and contradicting, and it causes you cognitive dissonance, it causes you pain inside your heart, and you want to do something to change it, and you want to do something to fix it, right? And then, like I say, for a lot of us, it causes this kind of cascade of, it gives us a feeling of purpose, and it gives us a feeling of responsibility, and it gives us a feeling of value, and it gives us a feeling of, worthiness to be a light worker, to be someone who is working with people and shifting the pain that you see. And then because of this, okay, energetically because of this, we first have to understand that to operate from a place where you feel like you need to change something because something is broken, right? You need to fix something because something is out of alignment. You need to do what you're doing in order to cause a change because something is not right. This automatically, vibrationally, is going to set you up for if you don't see the results you're looking for. Okay, so if the people that you're working with don't get it, or the people that you're working with don't heal, or right, you as you go out doing your healing work, it seems like you just see more and more and more things that need to change, and more things that are signs of misalignment and signs of things that are wrong and bad, and all this pain, and everything just becomes more and more intense, right? You're just gonna burn yourself out. You're going to naturally find that you get disheartened, and you get broken, and you get destroyed, and you get to a place where you suffer like anxiety or really low depressive states and all this. And so you're gonna find that, vibrationally speaking, so long as you're working from a place that there's something wrong with how people are living and there's something wrong with what's going on right now, you're setting yourself up for burnout. Okay, you're setting yourself up for physical things to go wrong with your body. You're setting yourself up for mental and emotional states to happen that hurt you. Okay, and then with that, you're setting yourself up to either go into martyrdom, right, or you're setting yourself up to completely check out of all light working altogether and just go back into regular life. Okay, or as best as you can, right? And the reason that this happens, okay, is because, again, when you're looking around, and as a light worker, I want you to understand something. As a light worker, you have a filter blown that most people don't have blown, okay? And what I mean by that is that you operate with an underlying understanding of unity, meaning their pain is your pain, their misalignment is your misalignment, the world's stuff is your stuff. Whether you cognitively feel that or not, you cognitively understand it or not, you feel it on an energetic level. Which means you can't be in the room with someone who's suffering and not feel it to a varying degree, right? So some people feel it as like, I can feel that it's this person, but I still want them to stop suffering, all the way to you're suffering, so I may as well be suffering. Like, it literally is the same thing. There is no disconnect, right? This is a fundamental filter that's blown in you, where the suffering of everyone else is your suffering, right? And that is because you are operating under an understanding of unity that most people have a filter on that they're not perceiving and they're not understanding. Okay? So when you walk around and you feel the pain and the suffering of everybody else, you have to know that you're experiencing the reality of unity where most people aren't. Okay? So that's the first thing, is to understand that unity it already is, right? We are all connected. No one is doing something that doesn't have an effect on everybody else. You just feel it to a degree that most people don't. All right? So that's the first thing. Now, because you have this understanding of unity, because you have this awareness of unity, because you are having an experience of this unity, right? This means you're generally going to be called to light work, because as you learn to start to heal what's going on inside yourself, right? And as you start to get into these modalities where you're healing your own pain and fixing your own pain and you're doing your own work on your suffering, right? It's going to cause you to want to go out and do that for everyone else because it's all the same, right? It's all the same to you. Does this make sense? Okay. Now from here, because you are having an experience of unity, under the assumption that something is fundamentally wrong with what's going on, as in the pain and the suffering and the being out of alignment and the not living in unity and the not knowing who we are, and like I say, mostly the pain and the suffering and the plight that is happening in the world, because you are operating with the fundamental assumption that that shouldn't be happening, you are going to burn yourself out, okay? Because this is the thing. You're fighting against reality, right? Because the reality is that not everyone is aware of who they are. Not everyone is in a place where they're ready to fully live as their divine self, where they're fully ready to have an experience of who they really are, okay? Most of the people on the planet right now are living in some state of suffering, and you know that all that boils down to is a misunderstanding of who they are, right? They're living in an ego identity that has nothing to do with who they truly are, but they are living it, and they are feeling it, and they are believing it, and because of it, they are suffering, okay? So, if we are to say, okay, so this is the part where I want you to just suspend judgment for a second, that this isn't wrong, that this is not a mistake, that this isn't what shouldn't be happening, that if you were to allow yourself to believe that everyone who's living in an ego identity right now in the suffering is supposed to be doing that, okay? It's not your job to fix it, it's not your job to change it, it's not your job to save them, because nothing has gone wrong. Where does that leave you as a light worker? Okay, so where this leaves you as a light worker is this. You must understand that vibrationally speaking, fundamentally speaking, the highest and greatest service that you can offer to this world, right, is not the vibration of something is wrong and I'm going to go out and fix it, okay? Because when you're in that vibration, all you're going to attract are things that are wrong and things that are bad and things that you need to fix and things that you can't fix because you don't have control over anybody else's perspective. You don't have control over anybody else's understanding of who they are. You cannot shift somebody out of their delusion that they are separated and that they are in the ego identity. You can't get someone out of that. This is the thing, right? If this is the one thing that causes pain, is the perception of who we are, which I think all light workers can agree on that, right? The one thing that causes pain, the one thing that causes suffering is the perception that we are separate, is the perception that we are not God, is the perception that we are not our divine self already. That is what causes suffering. We live as though that is true, and that causes pain. But that's the one thing that here on the planet you can't do anything about for anybody else, okay? As light workers, we need to understand we do not have power over anybody else's perception, meaning you can't actually save anybody, you can't actually heal anybody, you can't actually change anybody. Only people can do that for themselves. It is a sovereign thing here on the planet, okay? So as a light worker, it's not your job to save, fix, or heal. Number one, because nothing's actually gone out of alignment. Everybody is having their out of alignment experience for a reason. It's serving a purpose. It's not wrong, it's not bad. Okay? Second thing, they will wake out of it when they're ready. Just like you woke up out of it and are waking up out of it. When it's time, the information will come. When it's time, the realizations will come. You can't force it on somebody. You can't Reiki it to somebody. You can't have enough sessions with somebody to make them see it. You can't. Okay? So then where does that leave us? I understand. So this is what I'm saying. And when you're in that vibration of trying to fix it and heal it, you're just going to be reflected back to it over and over and over again. Okay? You're going to get burnt out, and you're going to constantly, so then this is when you start to martyr yourself. You really think you have to sacrifice yourself for other people. You gotta give more than you get. You wind up in poverty situations. You wind up burning yourself out physically and getting, like taking on everybody's negative shit and feeling like, you know, if you physically take it on or mentally or emotionally take it on, you're helping them. Like, this is when we get into all these messed up things as light workers that don't serve us and don't serve anybody else, right? Because you living in the illusion that everybody else is suffering and that everybody else isn't God and that everybody else isn't exactly where they're supposed to be, even though they're suffering or whatever, actually helps to reinforce that. Okay, so what this means, that your job is as a light worker, your only job as a light worker, number one, when you see things in your reality that you judge as wrong and bad, that's a sign that you need to go inside and love yourself. That's something inside of you that needs to be unified. That's something inside of you that needs to be healed. That's something inside of you that needs to be loved. Okay? When you see that there's something wrong outside of you, somebody's doing something they shouldn't be doing, something's feeling something they shouldn't be feeling, something's going through something they shouldn't be going through, they're in ego identity and they shouldn't be in that, the only way you have any vibrational effect on that is not to get sucked into it. You see what I'm saying? You can't go in there trying to fix it, because then you're agreeing that it's real, and that reinforces it. The only thing you can do is to say, okay, I see that. I love this within myself. I love the one who's hurting. I love the one who's suffering because of this. I love the one who's still believing that the delusion of this is real. Okay? That's how you lift the vibration. So again, you may not change it for them, but the thing is that you make such an energetic shift when you do that inside yourself that actually creates the vibrational breeding ground for everyone else to wake up, because we are connected. You see what I'm saying? So you not falling into the delusion with them that their suffering is real, that their pain is real, and you saying, okay, I see that's happening, it's hurting me because I believe it's real, this is a part of me that needs love. That's the first step. Okay? The second step is to find your joy and just do that. Seriously, this is the greatest thing you can do for everybody else. Because when you are living in alignment with your joy, you are living in alignment with the world that you want to see. You are living as an ascended being. You are living as a true light worker who actually carries the vibration of no longer being in delusion. Because when you are following your joy and you're following your bliss and you're doing what naturally comes to you and what makes you happy, you are living as your highest self. And that is the greatest thing you will ever do for the planet. You have transcended the delusion. Okay? You have transcended the illusion. And that is the most powerful thing you can do for everybody else. Because as you transcend the illusion, not waiting for everybody else to do it, not trying to fix it so that we can all go together. That's not how this is going to work. Okay? You have to go first. You step out of the illusion, you step out of the suffering, you step out of the pain by loving it and then doing what brings you joy. Loving it, do what brings you joy. Don't try and fix everyone else. Love yourself, do what brings you joy, and in that, you save the world. Okay? So, like for me, making these videos, I'm not doing it to help you. I'm not doing it to save you. I'm not doing it to fix you because there's nothing wrong with you. I'm doing this because I like it. That's literally the only reason. Okay? And that's why it has an effect. Because I am transcending the illusion of suffering while I do these videos. Okay? So this is your role as a light worker. Transcend the suffering by stopping engaging in it. Love it when you see it. Don't try and fix it. Live your highest purpose. If that's counseling people, do it. If that's making videos, do it. But don't do it to save people, because that just keeps you trapped in the illusion. Okay, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I love hearing from you. Like, subscribe, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, everything's down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!